It can create amazing images and art, and it's named after a guy who made art that looks like amazing images.
Thanks, science.
With the bonus of having some of the best advanced features in a user-friendly package.
What?
That's right, you're watching the ultimate how-to guide for Leonardo AI, one of the best platforms for image generation on the net. I'm AiAtom, and on this channel I do my best to show you the coolest AI and automation software and how to use it. And in this video, we're going to go in depth and show you the tips and tricks on how to use Leonardo AI like a pro. Plus, it has the added benefit of having a free tier. That's right, you can do all the basics completely free, saving those dollars for the student loan debt.
Nice.
Now let's dive into it, but before we get started, open the link to Leonardo in the description below so that you don't lose it and can start experimenting after the video.
Maximum effort.
So this is Leonardo AI, and through the magic of Stable Diffusion, it can create images and art from text descriptions. But what makes it stand out compared to the other image generators on the market? Well, while most of the other image generators stop at text to image with limited flexibility, Leonardo has added advanced features like style inference, which allows you to create images in the style of a reference image size selection, and even the ability to create stable reference characters, which you can use over multiple generations. That and more we'll get into. On top of that, Leonardo has a free tier, which makes it the perfect alternative to the leader in the space, Midjourney. Now let's jump into the good stuff that you can do for free on the platform. Once you create an account for Leonardo AI and log in, you'll end up on a homepage like this. Now all of the different tools you have available will be here on the sidebar, but they're also reiterated in this center console. Now the best place to get started is actually going through some of the featured guides depending on what you want to get done. These featured guides show in-depth tutorials on how to unlock some of the more advanced features that you can perform with Leonardo AI. They have a video tutorial along with step-by-steps so you can follow along and do whatever you want with it. Next thing to check out is the community creations. This is a gallery of different images created by users in Leonardo AI. And this is a great place to get ideas for your styles along with look at the prompts so you can get an understanding of how users actually created these images. You can actually go through and filter for different types of images, but this is how you get pro really fast at prompt engineering. You're able to go in, and when you find an image that you like, click on it and you can actually see exactly what prompt that user used to create that image, along with the different settings and the model they used. This is how you really accelerate your learning curve and start creating amazing images quickly. Now that we've got the basics down, it's time to start creating some images.
About time.
I can just start by going straight into image creation. Sure, in the image creation tab, there are a lot of things that you can modify, but we're going to get started over here in the presets. Now the first one actually lets you select the type of Stable Diffusion model that you want to use. Now in this case we have a number of different models that we can use, and they're all trained on different types of images. So if we hover over them, we will get an idea of the type of image that they are trained on. But in my case, I'm going to use Leonardo Phoenix because it's the most advanced one that they have so far. Next, we have Prompt Enhance. Now what Prompt Enhance does is it takes the prompt that you enter to create the image and it actually adds additional descriptors and improves it generally, makes better images overall. Next, you have Preset Style. Now Preset Style allows you to get a little more granular with the type of image or style that you want to generate. So there are a number of different styles, but you can mess around with these as you're generating images. In my case, I'm trying to create something that's more on an illustration style, so that is what I'm going to select here. This really just allows you to more granularly focus on a style rather than putting it in the prompt. After that, you have contrast. This is just like contrast in any image editing. It really just pops the colors and improves or reduces the contrast of the images. In this case, I'm keeping it on medium. And then we have generation mode. So in higher tiers, if you pay for it, you can have higher quality images and even go as high as ultra. So if you're creating images that you really need to be high quality, you can opt for one of the paid tiers and create that right off the bat. But you can also use an image upscaler to get a similar effect. Now, after that, a really important one is image dimensions. A lot of the different competitors only allow you to create 1 by 1, so square images. But where Leonardo stands out is it allows you to create the 2 by 3, which is more of a portrait mode image, along with the 16 by 9, which is really useful in creating images for videos or some of the panel images that you see. And then I'm just using the highest quality available for me, which is the medium quality. For large quality, for those high definition ones, you'll need the paid tier. For number of images, if you have the free tier, you'll only be able to generate 4 images at a time, so this is what I'm keeping it at. Finally, we have advanced settings. Now in advanced settings, there are a few different things that you can do, like making transparent background images, but in my case, I'm just going to activate negative prompt. And what negative prompt does is it allows us to add some different prompts that we actually want the image to avoid. So in this case, I'm going to add ugly, deformed, and unpleasant.
You're so ugly you could be a modern art masterpiece.
So my image will hopefully avoid those prompts. And I took a prompt from an earlier image, but in my case, I am going to write one out to show you how you can go about creating these prompts. So to get really good at creating good prompts, you really want a structure that you write them in. So I'm going to show you the structure that I typically create prompts with. What I like to do is start out with the style of the image. So I'm going to say a comic illustration style image of, and here is where I get into the description of the actual image that I want to see. So I'm going to say a dog standing on a mountaintop staring at the moon and night sky. So this is kind of a general description. So to get a little more specific with this, I can go in and add a few more adjectives, right? So here I'm going to do a white dog standing on a mountain, a snow-covered mountain staring at the night sky. And after that, once I have a general description, I'm going to go ahead and add some additional descriptors. So here I'm going to add things like nighttime, bold lines, ethereal, minimalistic, and these are just descriptors that help guide it towards a certain kind of look. And in this case, I'm also going to look at things like lighting, so volumetric lighting. So we have the style of the image, the description of the image, a little bit more context, and then other descriptors here. So now I can go ahead and click generate.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
And here we have the images that it's generated. So we have 4 different images that we can take a look at. And in my case, I actually really like this first one. So I can choose to download this, copy it to the clipboard, unzoom it, which is where it actually unzooms the image, remove the background, or upscale it to a higher quality image. But you can actually do this with several other apps. And that is really the basics for generating an image on Leonardo. Now we're going to jump into some of the more advanced features. And the first thing I want to show you is using elements or using reference images. So let's jump into that next. So first of all, what are elements and reference images? Well, elements are different styles that you can apply to the image generation that will influence its appearance. And reference images do the same thing, but they are going to be images that you upload that Leonardo can take a look at and try to infer the style from, so you can take specific images and make images that look like them. And you can do this by starting in uploading an image here. Now, one thing that you notice is I switched off of Leonardo Phoenix because Leonardo Phoenix doesn't actually allow this, so we have to choose a different model. In this case, I'm going to go with concept art. And now I have this feature available. So when I click here, you can see that I have several different options available. I can create consistent characters by uploading a picture or a photo of a specific character by using character reference here, or different concept, which will imitate these structures within an image. But in my case, I'm going to use style reference and upload a specific photo to reference the style from. So when I click on this, I'm going to be able to upload images, but I already have one loaded here, and of course it's going to be Batman. So here we have the style, and I can actually change how much it's going to influence the style of the image that I have down here. So I'm going to keep that on medium, and we're going to change this back to stylized illustration because I did change the model here, and let's see how this comes out. And here you can see the next renditions for this image actually have a little bit more of that comic feel. So a little bit bolder lines along with a little bit more of a comic illustration style, and that is what we're going for there. But let's say that we don't have a reference image, or we just want to adjust this even more and get it more customized. In that case, we can look at elements. And elements are finely tuned models that look at a specific style and add that to your image generation. So in my case, I'm going to look for something that is colorful and really just pops out. And in my case, I'm going to look at color pop here. Really? So you can select multiple of these and weigh them in your image generation, but in my case, I'm just going to use this one here. And that's going to show up right next to my style reference. Now, when I click on this, I can add or subtract the strength, and this is how much influence this element is going to have when I'm generating the image. And what you'll notice is you can actually go negative. So if I wanted to really move away from that color pop look, I could drag it into the negative. But in this case, I'm going to set this to about 0.5 to have it really influence it. And I'm actually going to move the comic style up to high just so we can see what that looks like. So as you can see, it took a lot of the elements along with the coloring from this reference image and created these. So I've got my Joker dog here.
You complete me.
And this is just one of the ways that you can really tweak and get specific with how you want your images generated in Leonardo AI. So now that we've got the basics down and you're able to generate some fantastic images with Leonardo AI, let's go through some of the other features that it offers. It has an upscaler, which allows you to take images and turn them into higher quality images using AI. Along with that, you can edit the images with Canvas Edit. But the two that I'm going to go through are the Realtime Canvas and Realtime Gen. Now, Realtime Gen allows you to see the Stable Diffusion work in real time. So as I start typing something like scary cat, we can see that it is generated in real time. And I'm able to drag these elements to influence the style of the image as I move forward. This is great for getting a really good prompt put together or really customizing your image quickly. So scary cat with samurai sword is going to look like this. And this gives you a really good idea of what these element features actually look like and what it looks like when you start going into the negative values for these. This is a really cool feature for getting a quick idea around some of the settings along with the elements quickly. The other feature is the Realtime Canvas. And Realtime Canvas allows you to sketch and give some extra input to the shapes along with a prompt to create some more customizable images. So this is just another way to create different things. So if I give something like a smiley face and I can change around the art type, I can actually draw in and give it some additional guidance. Now that is horrifying.
Looks like some sort of legally safe knockoff of an 80s horror character.
But let's see if I can give it some horns, and it will actually take the general shape that I have given and try to make something out of it. You can also put the output to input and add additional things and see how it reacts. So if you're working on something like a logo or you're just trying to modify an image a little bit, this is not necessarily going to work too well. As you can see, there are still some kinks that need to be worked through here, but it is another interesting option that you can mess around with in Leonardo. Finally, we have the motion feature, and the motion feature is only going to be available in higher tiered plans. And on this page, when you actually search for motion, you can see that this is what that feature does. It adds background motion or customizable motion to your images to give it a real 3D or GIF feeling. This is great for when you're trying to make clip-by-clip videos or some of the videos that you've seen on YouTube or in those viral TikToks. It allows you to add further dimension and additional animation and depth to your videos. So a very cool feature if you're getting into video production or trying to make something in a video format. Finally, and speaking of free tiers, let's get into pricing. So in the free tier, you're going to get 150 credits a day. And that on the most advanced model is going to give you about 6 runs with 4 images each. So you're going to be able to generate a decent number of images every day with the free plan. But if you're looking for things like the motion features or those other tiers, you can go ahead and look at some of the advanced tiers. Now these advanced tiers each give you additional tokens to be used throughout the month or per day, and they also unlock different things like motion videos and quality images. So you can generate ultra high quality images with something as low as The Apprentice at $10 a month. But if you're really serious about this and creating a lot of images or creating things like videos or professional TikToks, you might want to consider the Artisan Unlimited. Now, of course, if you just need to generate images constantly and you have some kind of business running off of this, then you have the higher tiers as well, going up to $48 a month. So you have a lot of flexibility in the tiers that you can choose to unlock with this, but this is what the pricing looks like for Leonardo. That's all for this video, but I hope you subscribe and like for more videos on AI automation with AiAtom.